Hello everyone, I'm Hayang, member from Group 1. Today our group will present about intonation. First of all, I would like to introduce a little about the members of the group. These are Lê Thị Hải Anh, Cao Thị Ngọc Bích, Bùi Thị Quỳnh Anh, and Nguyễn Linh Chi. We will learn about the following content. Those are some basic concepts, function of intonation and intonation patterns. And now I will talk about the first part, which is some basic concepts. The first is intonation. Intonation is the way the voice goes up and down in speech when people are speaking. It's a fundamental part of the way we express our thoughts and it enables us to understand those of others. It's helping to determine meaning and feelings that the speaker wants to convey through language what he or she is saying in certain form, being kind, being honest, and lying. The second is pitch. Pitch is the quality of a sound that is governed by range of vibration producing it. In short, pitch refers to the degree of highness or lowness of a tone. Tone is certain pattern of pitch movement, timings of tones. The speaker signals whether what he or she says is a proclamation, an agreement, a disagreement, a question, a hesitation, or indicators of completion and continuation of tone taking in speech. The fourth is tonic syllable. It is the most stressed syllable when the tone falls. This syllable is more permanent than the others and will tend to be longer in duration and louder than the other stressed syllables in the utterance. Normally, the primary stressed syllable of the last contained words in an intonation phrase. For example, have you ever been to Cuba? I'm a student. And finally, is intonation phrase. Intonation phrase is thread of discourse which contains a tonic syllable. Intonation phrase is an utterance can be spoken at one or several tone units, depending on the tempo of speech and speaker's purpose of communication. The faster a person speaks, the longer and fewer tone units. The slower the speech, the shorter and more numerous the tone units. For example, we don't know who she is, but it's also possible to divide the material up in at least the following possible ways. We don't know who she is. 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 An syntactic level, a noun phrase, a verb phrase, an adverbial phrase, a prepositional phrase, a clause, or even a short simple sentence that is a tone unit. For example, if your team does its job well, the manager will speak quietly about the group. If the team does its job well, it's close. The manager will speak kindly. It's close. About your group is prepositional phrase. And it's 3 tone units.
Functions of intonation. Intonation has 4 major functions, namely attitudinal functions, accentuous function, grammatical functions, and discourse functions. And attitudinal functions expect the speaker attitude and emotions to be topic or as a response. Listener statement and as additional meaning to be semantics of the statement. Functions. Grammatical function. Identify grammatical structure in speech, similar to punctuation in writing. Is this claimed that in English is a falling pitch movement is associated with statements, but a rising pitch turns statement into a yes, no questions, as if he's going home. This usual information is more typical of American English than a pretty. Some sentences may be ambiguous when you write, but this can be removed by the user intonation. An often cited example in the sentence, those who shall quickly make a progress. This sentence can be translated in less two different ways. Those who shall quickly make a profit. Those who shall quickly make a profit. English speaker hear two different paraphrase. English speaker hear two different paraphrase of the sentence because of the different placement of tongue until boundary are seen. Of profits were made by those who saw quickly. A profits were quickly by those who saw. Another example is the use of rising tone. It statements the sentence they going to have a picnic. It's usually said as a statement like this. They are going to have a picnic in informal speech. However, we may hear they's going to have a picnic, but it's rising outside the sentence served as a question here. The intonations used in questions task can be a rising tone or a falling tone. They's coming tomorrow, aren't they? They coming tomorrow, aren't they? When it has a falling tone, asking the speaker is comparatively certain that the information is correct, and simply asking for confirmation, while the rising tone in P instead to indicate a lesser degree of certainty, so the speaker is asking for information. Activities focusing functions. The scene between old and new information is an utterance and directs the listener attention to the salient points of the message. Exemplifies, I want to know where he is traveling to Norfolk. She was wearing a red dress, not color. And discard functions signals the way sense of interest are contrast and or coherent in a spoken discourse. This discourse function of intonation is subdivided into two main areas. The user of intonation to focus the listener attention on the message that is the most important. The regulation of conversational behavior. Behavior in the case of attention focusing, The placing of topic stress on the proper syllable on a particular word in the tone unit is the most often used. In many cases, the tonic stress in placed on the word that is the most important. Example, I went to Thailand. Sometimes they bring the tonic stress placement according in information content seems to be more abrupt. Later, if a word also in a given sentence is more precise than the information contents of that word. In lower two, tonic stress tends to be placed on the words with higher information contents. Example, I have to take the dog for a walk. I have to take the dog to the vet. Obviously, the word vet is left predictable, so it has higher information content than word. However, there are many cases when it's very difficult to find out which word is more important or has more information content. Therefore, the placement of the tonic stress based on these criteria is impossible. Another way in which intonation can assist in focusing attention in the tone chosen, let's take a look at the following example. Example size in the last time we met, when we had that hot dinner, I've been on that diet. The first two units present information that's relevant to what the speaker is saying, but which is the something new to the listener. The final tone, which is present new information, is a step that following tone indicates new information, while rising tone indicates given information. With regard to function of conversational behavior, regulation intonation is quite important in a conversational interaction of the two or more speakers. The speaker uses different prosodic comments to indicate to others that they have finished speaking, that the other person is expected to speak, that a particular kind of response is extended etc.
Hi guys, my name is Lovely, and the next part of our presentation, I would like to talk about rise fall intonation, fall rise intonation, and rise or fall rise intonation. So, rise fall tone conveys surreying, exclamation, strong conviction, or strength of feeling of the speaker. Rise fall tone typically occurs in the following case. Firstly is exclamations. Exclamations can be statements, phrases, interjections, yes/no questions, which signal surprise, excitement, or anger. In these circumstances, the tone rises at the beginning and gradually falls at the end. For example, what a good idea! What a good idea! Dreadful! Dreadful! Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they beautiful? How very nice of him! How very nice of him! Secondly is the alternative questions. For this type, the tone rises on the first part of the question and falls on the last part after or. Do you like coffee or tea? Which one do you prefer, white or black? Is he living on today or and the next main part is full rise intonation. Full rise intonation conveys hesitation, uncertainty, reluctance, or reservations on the part of speaker. The tone falls and then rises in these circumstances. Firstly, incomplete statements. Incomplete statements signal the speaker's unfinished thought. He hesitates to fully express his thought in response. For example, do you like my new handbag? Well, the leather is nice, but I don't like it. Secondly, the end of a what clause or the is followed by a clause. What he needs is earning as much money as possible. What he needs is earning as much money as possible. My problem is I don't know how to get there. My problem is I don't know how to get there. The fact of the matter is building the railroad is costly. The fact of the matter is building the railroad is costly. And the third circumstance, the end of a relative clause in the correct sentence if the information in the clause is given. For example, where are the sandwiches? Is this a dog that ate all sandwiches? Is this a dog that ate all sandwiches? Then the circumstance is the end of a suggested answer given by the questioner. For example, where are you going? Shopping mall? Where are you going? Shopping mall? What are you wearing today? The dress you wrote yesterday again? The dress you wrote yesterday again? And the last circumstance is a phrase or a clause showing contrast or comparison if its information is meant to be given. For instance, although I work hard, I don't earn much money. Although I work hard, I don't earn much money. I'd rather watch films on TV rather than go to the theater. I'd rather watch films on TV rather than go to the theater. And the last main part is rise or full rise intonation. So a rise or full rise intonation is also common in the following cases. Firstly, in subordinate clauses or subordinate phrases. For example, while I was learning English, he entered. While I was learning English, he entered. Unfortunately, we got lost on the way home. Unfortunately, we got lost on the way home. The point is, he can't overcome the phobia. The point is, he can't overcome the phobia. Secondly, is effective communications such as greetings, leave takings,
expression of thanks, and other social formulas. For instance, good morning, good morning, see you next week, see you next week. And that's all from us about Chapter 7, Intonation.